Sonic, come back. To me. To us.
This one moment will go down in infamy as the fall of Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the main contributors that detractors will continue to use to say the series has fallen off. And while I can sit here and see the sentiment of it all, I'd much rather not spew the same talking points that every other creator goes on to when talking about this topic. Now, I'm about to make a pretty hot take here, so give me a chance to explain myself, but I want Sonic Team to try this again. Yeah, I've never really been too fussed about the whole romantic element of this relationship, and while I'd rather see something more platonic in the future, I'm not exactly against the romantic option being taken again. Now let's go into a little more detail as to why this is. Now, the idea of Sonic kissing humans is something that goes all the way back to his conception. Madonna was meant to be Sonic's human girlfriend in the original game, but like many other concepts, the idea was scrapped for the final release. Now, I don't know about you, but I usually end up kissing my girl. I know, it's pretty shocking. So I'm sure a relationship like this would have had some level of affection past Sonic just saying, I love her, or she's my girlfriend. You know, hugs, kisses, you get the idea. Sonic would have been doing this very same thing from the beginning of the series, kissing a human woman. But why would it work in this instance and not for Sonic 06 and Elise? Simply, I think it comes down to art style. If Elise was similarly as cartoony as these drawings by Naoto Oshima, a lot less people would have had an issue. At least I think so. Anthropomorphic animals have been kissing humans for centuries. Just think back to your classic Looney Tunes, for example. Bugs Bunny was slapping lips with Elmer Fudd more than my parents beat my ass when I didn't wash the dishes. The reason Sonic and Elise seems a bit more uncomfortable is just because, well, it's pretty uncanny and realistic because of Sonic 06's art direction. Sonic's way taller, he's a lot more lanky, his quills are too long, and Elise is just straight up a human. Well, you know, as realistic as early PS3 and Xbox 360 graphics can portray one as. The second and more important reason why I see this concept doesn't work is the game doesn't necessarily give a reasonable justification for the princess giving the blue hedgehog a sloppy tongue twister. Now, it's implied this exchange of saliva is to bring Sonic back to life, but nothing in the game really shows that Elise can do this. It makes it seem like she just really wanted to give her favorite little pet a kiss, and then the whole point of bringing him back to life was kind of an afterthought. It's like, oh, a happy accident, he's back. It just doesn't seem that way. And I like to suspend disbelief and also just assume that, like everything in Sonic 06, the game was just rushed. Sonic Team just didn't have time to explain all of Elise's abilities, which is why the idea of resurrecting lips was never brought up before that point. If these ideas had been woven into the story, I could see this ending actually being somewhat satisfying if they had been bringing up the idea of this sort of kiss of life from the very beginning. But as the story stands, it would rather go out of its way to be more drastic and show the seriousness of Elise crying rather than showing why her kiss would suddenly bring an animal back to life. But in hindsight, it did create this most infinite scene that could have been avoided had they just explained it a little more. So that's pretty much all I had to say. If these elements could be expanded upon and put into a new entry, I could see Elise being a good interest for Sonic, romantic or otherwise. I don't really mind. Besides, neither character really remembers the other from the events of Sonic 06, so reintroducing her in this drastically different setting and more explanation on her powers isn't exactly crazy to think about. Anyway, that's basically it for this video. If you guys have any points you want to make about this, feel free to leave in the comment section below. I love reading that stuff. And as always, I have to say a goodbye.